street, I immediately felt like a trespasser. The bridge, in a way, divided two worlds. The St. Mary's, where Sousen and paprika shops had vanished. Now, all of a sudden, there were fancy florists, elegant perfume stores, and prim markets where white-coated captains sold such delicacies as quail, truffles, and caviar. This was not my world. This was Sutton Place, the world of the rich, powerful, and famous. I was a total stranger here, and a late one at that. But what was really making me so breathless was that what I was late for. I had a job interview with the most famous person of them all, Marilyn Monroe. My husband and I loved her movies. Even my brother said in Italy had written that she was their favorite star. It was hard to believe that I might have a chance to work for her. My last job had been with the lovely Park Avenue family, but it didn't fulfill my fantasies. Like the other quietly rich doctors, lawyers, and bankers who populated the avenue. You wouldn't think reading would get you out of breath, but it does for me. These people led perfectly ordered yet unglamorous lives. I was one of the support staff who made these orders' lives what they were. My employer was a wealthy woman who had 3 daughters of coming out age. For several years, I was their wardrobe mistress, making sure each would be the belle of whatever ball she would be attending, and that during the day none would be embarrassed if the town and country photographer happened to stop by. Elegance that may have looked casual was actually very calculated, a full-time job for me. But now the balls were over. The girls had packed up their expensive clothes and gone off to colleges like Vassar and Smith. Consequently, I went back to the employment agency where I had gotten this last job to apply for another. This time, however, I decided to be a little bold. If I asked the elderly lady who managed the agency if there was an opening with someone interesting, I hoped that she wouldn't be insulted that I wanted something other than her sole registered clientele. Park Avenue was fine, but this was New York, where so many of the world's most fascinating people lived. I simply wanted some excitement in my work. Had I been an older woman, a sedate Park Avenue position would have been a seamstress dream, but I was barely 30, with lots of energy and the crazy idea that work might sometimes be fun. The minute I used the word interesting, the manager's normally dour face lit up. Interesting. Yes, indeed, she exclaimed. I have a famous movie star for you. Whew, I breathed eagerly. Marilyn Monroe. I didn't believe her. You're kidding me. You said interesting, didn't you? Miss Monroe is looking for a personal maid and wardrobe mistress. Your qualifications are perfect for her, and the pay is excellent. She paused. Her face turned serious again. But I must warn you, interesting and easy aren't the same thing. She's very difficult. I'm having an impossible time filling this job. I'd like to try, I said without even thinking. Anything to break the genteel monotony that I had known. Besides, I had read about Marilyn Monroe's marriage to Arthur Miller, the famous playwright. The Queen of Hollywood and the King of Broadway. Their apartment was sure to